Good morning to everybody on what is in effect day 4. It's actually 418. We worked for a couple of days and I've only recorded once in 2 days. So welcome, how are you? Subscribers are up to 884. We've actually had another few subscribers. That's great news. Clearly not boring everyone as much as I thought it was. Today, what's the plan today? Today's plan is to try and work a little bit more on here. As you can see, the weed sheets have only been off for 5 minutes and we've got grass growing already, so we're under pressure a little bit to try and get this done. But it is a bit of a backbreaker. And we did a backbreaker yesterday, which I'll show you in a minute. Mixing concrete, doing slabs at my age is not healthy. Anyway, so today what we've got to do, we pulled a couple of lines on this. Shervin's pulled a line here. In fact, let me show you. A couple of blocks here, lines on here just to show us the height. We do need to try and run it that way, obviously, because we need to try and make sure the moisture sits away from the house. And that's one issue we've been having here. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but there's like it's like a damp mark all the way along. It's like a line. So the paint is actually coming away from the wall all the way along. So here we've actually applied a damp proof from Sherwin-Williams, which I told you guys about the other day. So what we've got to do today is, as you can see, all of this here. So we're going to have to sand all of this. This is obviously where I assume where the mud was against the wall and the damp has risen. So we're going to have to apply a sander all the way along to get that flat, and then we need to take this white damp proof up about 10 inches all the way along. We've obviously dug out this piece here, but we have added stone and sand, and we got quite a bit of stone that's arrived. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to dig this out a little bit more, get this onto here to help us level the floor, and then we're going to put pure stones down here. So we need to paint the damp proof first, then we need to put the stones down, and then yesterday Sherwin-Williams have finally got their black out the port, black paint that is, and we can now start painting with the new paint. So I'll show you that in a second. Morning. In fact, let me show you that now. So this is their outdoors bespoke paint. It's not cheap. Exterior acrylic latex. This is the flat version, so latitude. So we've got 5 gallons of that, and we've obviously got it in the elusive green. It's a grey obviously, but they call it elusive green. So we're going to paint that on, and that is the colour that we tested on the front of the house. Fingers crossed. This colour here. So we're going to take that all the way along, give a couple of coats on there, make sure that is nice. But we're going to do that first so that when we start putting down the soil and whatever else, we don't end up having to have this issue, which is where you paint down to the mud and you can't get as far down, so you'll end up having marks everywhere. The downside to doing it before you lay everything is obviously you can obviously put the stuff on the wall after you've painted it. So catch-22, but I think that's the best way to do it. Get this taken out, get the actual damp proof done, get the whole wall painted, a couple of coats, place the stones back down again, and then we can start leveling off here. It's not massively bad anyway, and I might get some type 2, I think they call it quarter mix here. So that's on standby to be delivered today. The downside to that is, again, it will have to be delivered here and it will have to be wheelbarrowed in, so it's a big job. And I really, without being rude, as you know guys, I'm a little bit tired. So the thought of bringing in more stones and having to wheelbarrow that into here and leveling it off, it's the right thing to do, but back-breaking, and I'm getting too old. As I said to Sharon, and by the way, welcome Sharon, hello. Nice to meet you and your cousins. Thanks for nipping in. Lovely to meet you. And like I said in my message to you yesterday, I can't believe for a year we've been talking on and off on YouTube, and your tagline is S. Brewster. So I just thought, I don't know why, I assumed you were male. But you're female, so lovely to meet you. Today we've got to unbox this. This was an absolute killer. So this is the base that we've actually done for the condensers. Trying to do it yesterday, and the width that it is, trying to get it straight manually without a cement mixer, and also try and make sure that we've got enough run on it so the water can run this way and the water can run that way, was bloody difficult. And with the weight of the cement, a lot of the boards kept moving, so we've got a bit of an assumption as to where the run is. So I mean, being in this corner, we don't get a lot of rain here anyway, so we should be okay. But obviously I need the rain to land and to run away. I don't want it sitting in the corners puddling. I mean, that is definitely low down there. And I've tried, as soon as we started putting concrete on it, obviously it hid the lines on the walls, so we couldn't see where the lines were. So there's been a bit of a guesswork on there, but I'll tell you what, mixing up concrete in the blazing sun and then trying to lay it was probably one of the hardest things I've done on the job so far. I think it was bloody awful. So yeah, me and Sherwin did that. So yeah, it's all ready. So hopefully the condensers and everything are going to be coming out of the port in the next day or two. They're in the port, so we're just waiting for clearance, and then we can start doing the install in the next couple of weeks. So that's the plan. So the condensers will go there, the big square ones that I put in the video yesterday. They'll be mounted here, in the wall here somewhere, probably around about where this piece is here, pretty much straight down. That's the this side is basement, so we can go through the wall there, straight into the basement, and we can run them straight into the basement where the condensers will be housed. Sorry, condensers. The what do they call them? The central air systems. They'll be in the basement feeding the actual house, and they'll come out here to the condensers. So that's going to be the plan. Pool. We've got a little bit of it looks like dust on the pool today, but the pump's not on, so I need to get the pump going. They did come out and set a schedule. I've pressed the schedule yesterday and got it going, but then I came back last night from being out and it was still on, so the schedule doesn't seem to be turning on and off. So I just need to have a quick look at that today, or ask them to dial in and have a quick look. And Barry, thank you much for the advice on the Ring flood sensor. I didn't know Ring did a flood sensor, so to actually have a Ring sensor in the basement here and in the pump room, as long as obviously it can be reached by wireless, what a great idea. That's going to be my only issue. I don't think that our wireless signal is going to be strong enough, so I'm going to have to find a way of extending our wireless network to come out onto the patio area somewhere, so I can house another wireless dome. So we do want to get one into the actual cottage at some stage anyway, so I need to think about how I'm going to go about doing that, but that will be the only issue. Rings, all the Ring systems all work off of Wi-Fi, so if you can't actually get it to a Wi-Fi area, then it won't work. So, and I know the signal is definitely weak over in the pump room, and I've got a feeling it's going to be weak here as well. But even if it can actually make a siren noise, that'll be good enough. So if water reaches it and it can make a siren noise, at least I can hear something. But at the moment, if we have any issues in the underground part of the cottage, I can't hear it, I can't see it unless I go down there. And it'll be the same thing in the pump room of the pool as well. So if anything happens, I'm not going to hear anything. So yeah, I'm gonna be going back to UK in the next couple of weeks anyway. So I'm gonna have a look at whether I can source a couple. Definitely worth having, that's for sure. So yeah, thanks Barry for the heads up, much appreciated. So yeah, plan today is going to be the front garden. So I've got an IT engineer coming today, just to let you know, you guys, in case you have the same issue. We've got Digicel, which is probably the better provider on the island out of the two. We have obviously the CCTV system that's rigged up in there, but every time there's a power cut on the island, which as you know, there's always quite a few, our IP addresses that are associated and linked to the CCTV reset. So I have to get an IT engineer out every single time there's a power cut to re-put in those settings. So today, my IT engineer is coming back out again. We're going to be calling Digicel and we're going to be talking through how we can get this sorted, because we can't have this every time there's a power cut, because as you know, power cuts happen quite often on the island, and it's costing me sort of between 100 and 200 Bayesian and the inconvenience every time it happens. So he's coming out today at another cost to me. We're going to call up Digicel and hopefully we can talk them through where we are, what we're doing, and is there a solution to it. We have the same setups in England, in our houses, in our businesses. We don't ever have this problem. So, and all of the settings are in the actual Digicel router, they're not in our system. So it's clearly something that their system's not currently handling. So he suggests that they replace the router. So I'm hoping he's not going to have a wasted journey today. So, but they couldn't help me because I couldn't really understand what the hell they were talking about when I spoke to them. So hopefully they can get that rectified today. Other than that, obviously that's it for today so far. We're going to get on with the front. IT engineer's going to be turning up, so I'm going to get that sorted. I'm going to manually fire up the pool pump and get that going again. And speak to them about how we can try and sort that schedule out. And as and when things change throughout the day, I'll let you know. In the meantime, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe below. That'd be great. And give me some comments. Love talking to all of you, and love corresponding back. So speak soon. Good afternoon, welcome back. It's actually 3:15. Sherwin's shot off early to back up his little one. This is awesome. So I'll show you what we've been up to. Before I start gassing away, give me that love down below. Comments are always greatly appreciated, as I always say. Thank you to Anonymous, whoever you were, about the black mark on the bottom of the pool. Could be black algae, he said. Could be black algae, but it looks like to me, it doesn't look like algae. Algae's normally like a black spot. You can get green algae, obviously black algae's bad. And I did a quick research, and it does say that black algae is pretty bad, don't go in the swimming pool. But obviously it's quite new, we've had hardly any usage in it. The levels where they need to be, and it also looks like concrete. It looks like someone's made up some concrete mortar and pasted it on. That's what it looks like. So whether they've gone too thin there and it's showing through, I'm not too sure, but I don't recall seeing it when I first got here. It looks like it's got worse. So, but obviously the guys have brushed the pool, so maybe they brushed the blue off and I'm actually seeing the base. So that's a bit of a shit if it is that, because obviously I can't sort that without emptying the pool. But anyway, I've put some goggles on, I've stuck my head into the water and a good look, and it really does look like concrete. So I think we're okay on the algae front. So yeah, thanks for the advice on that, and anything like that, please keep it coming, Okay, I've just quickly been into the pump room and double checked the pump very quickly. It's all running fine. Again, last night it didn't turn off at 4 o'clock, like I said earlier on. I've WhatsApped the pool company, and he said it didn't come back on because you turned it off manually. I only turned it off manually because it didn't go off in the first place. So I turned it off manually last night. This morning it didn't kick back in at 8 o'clock. So the 8 o'clock kick-in didn't happen because I turned it off manually last night. But I turned it off manually last night because it didn't turn off. So I've checked the menus, it's got accurately in there. Program 2 says start at 8, finish at 4. But last night it didn't go off. So another 45 minutes and we'll see what happens today. I've also just been down here and just spray greased all of the steel frames and stuff like that, just to try and help them survive, including all the floor ones. We've got floor brackets down here holding all the pipe work in, brackets holding this stuff on the wall. So a quick spray of WD white silicone grease. That's what I've sprayed on those, and then obviously a bit of standard WD-40 on the others. I'll show you that black mark on the pool again. Sorry to duplicate, but any more advice would be greatly appreciated. Try not to make any ripples, you can see it. So to me it looks like it's the floor coming through. And I'm under the impression the guys definitely didn't do 2 coats like they're meant to have as well. So I would say that they just haven't gone thick enough there. That's what I personally feel. I hope I'm wrong. I'd rather deal with algae. But I think I am right. So you can't really see it. I mean, you can see it. What am I talking about? Most people wouldn't notice it, but I can see it from a million miles away. So it is bloody annoying. But again, it hasn't been swept out yet. It hasn't, still loads of construction dust and dirt in here. It still hasn't been swept, hasn't been hoovered. So I do want to try and get that done. But people are reluctant to do it until they know whether there's any more work going on the edge. I've heard nothing from the contractor. It's now Thursday. So I assume that he's not going to be coming. So I have to do it myself. Okay, the Sherman's main efforts today have been on the front, so let me take you around very quickly and show you there. I'm going to spray some water on our back breaking base later, just to see how bad it actually is. Doing concrete with runs, as you know, on this job's always been a nightmare, but obviously I've done this one, so I can only be blamed myself. But it was very difficult in the sun, the heat, trying to mix it manually, as well as trying to see the lines and do. So as you can see, it does look like I've got it running a little bit this way and running a little bit that way. So I'll spray some water on it later on and see what happens. But fingers crossed, it's not too bad. I mean, it's only going to be to hold the condensers. We'll get it stamped once it's actually done, and we've cleaned up everything. We'll take all the formwork off later on tomorrow. We'll fill all the actual gaps, get it all repainted around here, get the landscaping redone, and then stain with the actual concrete stain. We'll stain that a nicer colour so it's not so ugly to stare at. We are talking to the landscapers about this, like I told you about. We've got 2 lads that are looking to come and level this potentially next week. So there's a lot of mud in there. It's got to come over. I think there's going to be spare mud. So again, we've got quite a big gap down here, so all of it can go down the side, and then we can roll it down there. And then what I'm going to be doing is ordering some 2 down think we call it type 2 in England. It's a very thin marl sort of, where you can put it on the ground and you can roll it. Sorry about the wind. So I'm going to get that ordered. So what I'm going to do down here, once this is as leveled as possible, we have some paint on the wall. We've stopped at the moment because it's actually the darker paint is showing up some of the imperfections that we have. So we're going to get those imperfections done tomorrow first. We've ground down a few bits, but it's still quite bad, so we're going to get that redone tomorrow. Get the bits filled and then put the paint on there. We have an issue with the edge. The edge itself was meant to come down and butt to the concrete, but along here they started using a batten and they scooped down to the batten, so we now got a line here. So we have a little bit of a shelf line here and we have a flat line here. So this is quite simple because we can take this and do what we've done there. As much as it's not a straight line, because it's flat, you can actually make it look straight. So we'll be okay along here, but as soon as it starts coming out, we're going to be pretty shafted. So hopefully it will look good. That's the aim. There's a nail there. So that's got to be removed. And there might be another one there as well. No, that's not. Yeah, so we're going to do that. And then where this is concerned, we're going to get the stone. So we've had the 3/4 mix delivered. We're going to pour stones all the way down here, all the way along. Reposition all of these sprinkler heads. Not that we need them now because this is going to be AstroTurf, but they're in, so we might as well keep them in. I might just have them under the grass rather than cutting holes in it. I don't really want to be doing that. So we'll stone all the way down here. Then we're going to get the weed sheets back down, make sure they're nice and fixed. And once the weed sheets are down, we're going to get the 2 down delivered. We'll probably get it dumped in the driveway. And then, unfortunately, another back-breaking day, we're going to have to wheelbarrow it all the way down manually and dump it. And try and see if we can get it scattered nice and even on top of the weed sheet. Then we've got to roll it, and then I'll probably get one of those little mini compactors and just go over it with a mini compactor to try and flatten it off. And then it'll be the AstroTurf, and I think the AstroTurf will make this look so much different. So, but in the meantime, we're going to have to do things like this, remove some rocks, some broken concrete and jagged bits. So I have to get rid of those sort of things. Again, any sort of holes like this, just try and get them filled a little bit with some soil or stones or sand. Then we'll put the sheet down and the 2 down on top of that. The 2 down will literally make it nice and flat and take all the unevenness out. And again, to rake it, very, very easy. Raking clay is just near on impossible. So that's where we are with that. It's my beautiful wife. So that's pretty much it for today. Rather than finishing the video now, I'll probably kick on with tomorrow as well to make it one longer video like I did the other day. So I'll check in with you at some stage. Oh, and also the IT engineer turned up. We rang Digicel whilst he was here, and we do have a faulty box. So the box itself is dropping our IP address for our port forwarding. So our cameras need a port forwarding IP address on there so that you can dial into them remotely. When there's a power cut, it drops that setting. So we managed to get through to a friend of a friend because the main number wouldn't help, and he confirmed there's a new box needed. So he's going to send an urgent email and try and get that sorted for us. So that's nothing ticked off today. So anyway, I'll check in with you guys a bit later on, if not tomorrow. Good afternoon to Friday. It's 20 to 3. Time is flying past as always on planet Earth. Didn't check in this morning because I thought there's no point actually duplicating on the same video the same thing as yesterday, so I thought I'd leave it a bit later on so I can show you some other bits we've done. Let me start around the back. Before I start, thank you for some of the comments to last night, and don't forget, if you don't mind, giving me a thumbs up below and try and share as many comments as we can. We're starting to get into the 890s now. Are we going to make 1,000 subscribers on this goddamn channel? Do we deserve it? Do we deserve it? Bloody right we deserve it. Shit me. It's 28 degrees. I'm out in the sun. Anyway, so we started off by looking at the ugly monstrosity today, so let me show you that. The backbreaker, as we call it. I've poured water on it, and for once we've actually got a slab that does pour away. The corner's a little bit suspect, but yeah, it really was difficult to try and get in there and get the level needed. As soon as you started laying the concrete, obviously the line that you're trying to set is eroded by the concrete going on the wall. So note to self, I'd always try and potentially put an inch higher line than needed, so at least then you can measure the inch so that you don't cover it in concrete and you can see where the hell you're going. Obviously it does mean that you've got to guesstimate what an inch actually is. But anyway, we took the formwork off the front and got that cleared away. We're just obviously in the midst of trying to get this bit out as well. Obviously there was only one bit of board on here, so there was concrete all over the mud, so we got that broken up and taken away as well. So it's reasonably de-stoned. and de-rocked and concreted. So now it's just a case of leaving the height where it is, because it's going to be very similar to here. And then what we'll do is we'll get some, we've got some 2 down being delivered on Monday for the front. So we'll actually put some in here as well and level that. And that's going to be AstroTurf, that part. This bit over here, exactly the same. We put some of the off needed concrete, the off not needed concrete, and put that into the corner here. And the reason why we did that is because we are getting a little bit of damp down in this corner here, and we do think it's coming from here rather than the step itself. Either way, it gives us a bit more of a stable back. This bit's mud. Again, I'll put that over it for now. Monday we'll take that up, put some 2 down over the whole thing. Again, that'll be AstroTurf as well. So we're going to green in there and green in there. That's those 2 bits. Mel, my electrical friend, is downstairs putting in the electrics for the pump, which I explained to you the other day that I'm going to be putting in. And he's also putting the breakers in the pump room for me so that the pool guys can come and finish off doing what they've got to do. And just note to self as well, if you're going to put a heated pool in, a heat pump for your pool, where you can normally put your pump on a timer and have it going on for 2 to 4 to 8 hours a day, ours is 8 hours due to the size. With a heat pump, you have to have it on all the time. So the pump has to be on 24/7, just to let you know. I don't know whether you can turn it down from the usual 2.5, 2.6 recommendation for that size pool, that is. But yeah, so you'd have that on 24 hours if you've got a heat pump. So obviously we don't need the heat on all the time. It's only this time of year when it gets a little bit of a chill, but this year it's been absolutely fine in all fairness. So it's surplus to requirements at the moment, but as we know, weathers can change. Still waiting for the guys to come out and give me a quote to definitely come and start this. My wife is on that one, so I don't know if she's chasing it. If she watches this, get your finger out. If it was me, it'd been done. Round here. So just tidied up this little bit here. This has been a little bit of an eyesore for quite some time, so just put a couple of plants in there. So took up the base with a bit of topsoil, laid down a weed sheet, cut some holes in the weed sheet, put these 3 in. They're a little bit pissed, which is doing my OCD a little bit. I don't know what I've gone wrong, whether it's leaning over or not, but actually doesn't looks like that one's sitting back. Anyway, stones are on there now, so it looks a little bit prettier. I'm sure they'll go green and mouldy and horrible, and it'll pee me off. But anyway, that's that. And then what I'm starting to do now is just go behind Sherwin. Sherwin's now patched up this wall, sanded it down, got the damp proof on, and has now got 2 coats on. I think you'll agree it looks absolutely awesome compared to the other colour. The other colour was just too light, it just didn't look nice. It was this sort of colour on a white, so it just didn't look right. It really does break up the house now. So he's around the other side doing the front of the building because we're taking that all the way around. We've got the pipe out the irrigation side and got it stabilised. Although this is going to be AstroTurf, I've still got the irrigation pipes there, so we're going to have to get those at the height needed to potentially be just underneath the AstroTurf. We're not going to need to water it at all. So I'm just in the midst of obviously putting these stones in here, which is going to act like a French drain. That will just keep the moisture away from the top side of the wall. And again, like I said, we've got some 2 down being delivered on Monday. We're literally going to put the dust sheets, the weed sheets back down, pin them down, and then we're going to cover this with 2 down, roll it. Potentially I'm going to get a compactor out, the little handheld ones. I'm going to run a little compactor over it, make sure it's nice and flat, and then AstroTurf the lot. So that's where we are so far. But let's quickly, sorry about the wind, let's get down here and see what Sherwin's up to. He's got a bit of monkeys playing by the sounds of it. Probably copyrighted now. Only one left now, isn't the monkeys? All of them dead. Here he is. Look at that, looks awesome. Looks great. We need to sand that pool edge around there as well, and we run it right around there as well. That top edge. Sand that down, we'll run it right round. Pool guys, again, they did the top edge, but they didn't do the front, so it's now pretty shocking. So this has all been dug out as well, just purely because obviously the irrigation pipes, we're going to get that laid down, get that covered. As you can see, the grass has grown already. It's only been up for like 5 days. And it wouldn't be bloody grass I want, would it? It wouldn't be the zoysia, what we call it. Oh no. Bloody wheatgrass, that's what it is. So anyway, I'm going to have to give that a quick spray as well before we do that. So I'm going to get these stones in. I'm going to rake this forward. Once that's been raked, then we're going to literally cover this, obviously with the 2 down. And then from the 2 down, we're going to get the weed sheet down and start laying the AstroTurf. So that's where we're going to be until Monday. So I'll check in with you a little bit later on just to finish off. But if I don't get around to it, have a great weekend. And I'll see you Monday. But I'm sure I'll check in with you soon. Take care. Okay, end of the day, 10 to 5. Let me quickly show you what we've done and we'll wrap up and I'll leave you until Monday before I I start, obviously don't forget to subscribe if you're not obviously subscribed to the channel, you're new. And if you're old, give me a thumbs up if you can. Or tell me where I'm going wrong if I'm not. So, raked out the front. Front is all raked out now. Stones are all installed. Sherwin, the man, has painted all the way along, although I've chipped it a little bit. Sorry, Sherwin. Let me show you around. So obviously, like I said to you guys, what we've done is we've dug all the way along where the irrigation pipe is. We've damp coursed, we've repainted, and now we've installed, I think they call it quarter mix, but you know, it's a small milestone. So we put that all the way along. Things are a little bit more level, I think you can see. But we will, after this, we will literally roll the roller over it and put down the weed sheet, and then Monday we'll get some quarter mix in. Now, Sherwin has come around the front of the house with the paint. First coat. Looks so much nicer. But again, unfortunately, the pool contractor's not done very well on the front of the pool. So Sherwin's got to make good. So you'll see what I mean by the edging. It's all just pretty much stuck on. So pretty poor. So he's gonna have to make that up and then concrete that in, and it's all the way around, as you can see. All over my sign as well, thank you very much. Bloody annoying. This really needs to be redone as well. I mean, one of the labourers did that. It's like a really bad job. That was Ooh, that was you. Ooh. There's a guy called Ooh on the job. He did that. Anyway, we could probably cut this sort of edging here, look, for instance, with a grinder, just get rid of that, just make that a little bit neater, as this bit here, for instance, and maybe this piece here. But other than that, you know, I'm not going to go spending massive amounts of time on it. It's been all right so far. The colour is 10 times better, I must admit. But again, Sherwin need to just literally spade that away from the house and get right down and then spade it back again. It's a real bugbear of mine that people do that in Barbados. I've got it right over there, look. As soon as I look over there, look at that wall there, look. Yellow underneath, grey at the top. And it's like on every bloody wall. So I want that to stop. So we need to dig away and get that done properly. We've also got to redo this bit as well, obviously, where we've taken this level down. We want to make sure the water runs. So we're going to have to take that out, make sure that's nice and smooth, and then obviously make sure this is graded after we put the two down. It's two down, by the way. Very, very, very fine marl. Sorry about the wind. So yeah, it's in England we would call it type 2. So we'll put that down. We'll put that down on top of the weed sheet, like I keep saying, and we'll literally put the roller over it and try and get it as nice and flat and as firm as possible. And then we'll apply the extra top over the top of that. It should make it more stable. In England, you sort of do a rock, you know, the marl here, but it'll be some form of aggregate. Roll that, then you put the two down and roll that. Then they put sand down, then they put the astroturf, and then they sprinkle sand over the astroturf. So I'm not too sure we're going to be going that extreme. It's not going to be for walking on, it's just going to be for look, so cut a few corners. But anyway, I'm going to leave you to it. Thanks very much for watching. Anybody got any comments, please feel free to crack on. I'll hopefully try and get some emails or alerts through from YouTube if it happens. We don't seem to get those at the moment for some reason. Sorry if I don't reply straight away. And I will keep an eye out over the weekend, and I'll check on you guys on Monday. Monday, so he's going to be finishing off down there and getting the astroturf on the back bits if we've got any spare bits, that's for sure. So astroturf Monday. Happy bank holiday. Obviously tomorrow is a bank holiday Saturday in Barbados, so enjoy, and I'll check in with you bright and breeze on Monday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.